Hey, if you're 60 or give or take about 5 years from retirement, there's some really important things that you should do. I wanted to record a video today to talk about some of those things. So today I'm going to give you 3 things that you really need to look at doing if you're getting close to retirement. So first things first, get a hold of your expenses, understand what they are. I'm floored at how many times I talk to clients who are close to retirement. I say, like, what do you need every month? And they get some super round ballpark number. And then when we dig in, it's not particularly accurate. All they know is, hey, more comes in than what goes out, and we're saving and funding retirement, and therefore everything must be okay. And while that's true while you're working, remember, you're about to cross over into uncharted territory. You're about to switch to retirement, and we need to know how much of a paycheck you need. And we can't figure out how much of a paycheck you need if we don't know what your actual expenses are. And so what I always recommend is use Quicken, get yourself a spreadsheet if you're that kind of person and you just want to build out a spreadsheet. Go into your financial accounts, anywhere where money flows out. Doesn't matter if money's flowing in, anywhere money flows out. So the checking account, if you use a credit card every month and pay it off, get the credit card data, you can download transaction information. Pull at least 6 months, ideally pull 12 months, and then break things down and see where money's going. Now, there might be some things that are coming out that will stop in retirement. Certainly, there are some things where costs may go down in retirement, things that you're paying for that you won't anymore. But you should be able to use that data to figure out what you've got going out every month and what's likely to continue. Therefore, how much retirement income am I going to need to balance the scales? You know, I always talk about what you have coming in, what you have going out. We need to get that balanced before retirement so that when you retire, it's a smooth transition. And you can't do that without knowing what the expenses are. So first things first, get the data together, figure out what the expenses are. If you're not a do-it-yourselfer, your financial advisor should be able to help you with that. If you say, like, hey, I really want to tighten up on the financial plan here, I'm going to give you the data. Can you kind of sort this out and help me figure out what I have every month? And they'll do that for you. The second thing you got to do is check your asset allocation, right? You're now a certain number of years away, 5-ish years from retirement. You need to make sure that you're invested appropriately for that. Start to look at worst case scenarios. What could happen in historically bad markets to my portfolio if one of those happened at some point within the next 5 years? And how long would it take me to recover? And would that recovery impact my ability to draw income from the portfolio? It gets much more important than when you're 15 or 20 years away from retirement when you're that close. And so you got to dial that in and make sure that you're not taking too much risk such that it would impact your ability to retire. I see folks all the time, again, 60, 62, 64 years old, getting ready to retire, and we look at their retirement accounts. They've got a 401k, they've been at the company for a long time, that's where the lion's share of the money is, and it's invested the same way as it was when they were 45 years old, which was the last time the company changed their 401k provider. A 45-year-old should be invested differently than a almost 65-year-old, and that's true just across the board. And so if it's been a while since you looked at that, make sure that you look at that and don't just continue to ride if things are going well, saying, everything's going well, it'll be fine. Because if you don't know how much risk you have, and then one of those events happens, it can really derail your plans and your ability to accomplish the things that you want to. The third big one, any last minute adjustments. And I know last minute doesn't sound like something that should go along with a 5-year time frame, but when you're talking about a 40+ year work career, the last 5 years are last minute. And so this is sort of your last chance to make some meaningful changes to what will come of your retirement. You can still change some behaviors then. Do I need to cut back on spending a little bit? Is there a way I can get a little bit more extra money put away? Should I be looking at Roth versus traditional right now for the retirement money that I'm putting away? Do I need to accelerate some debt payment? Like, what are the things that you can do now at late 50s, early 60s that will create a meaningful difference 5+ years from now when you get to retirement, so that the next 25 or 30 years of retirement will be what you want them to be? And so it's sort of the last stop. I always think about driving down the highway and they go like, last exit for food and gas. That's that like 5 year before retirement. You can still make changes after that, but the impact of those changes will be lessened because you've got less time to benefit from what those changes are. When you got 5 years, now it's better if you can make those changes 20 years early, but if you got 5 years left, you still got some time to make some meaningful change for the remainder of your retirement years. And so make sure that you do those things. Review all of those options. Again, typically you do that with a financial planner, but if you're a DIY guy, you can figure that stuff out for yourself if you really want to. Just make sure that you do it. That's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe to the channel, because if you do, you'll get notified every time we put up new content. Once or twice a week, there's something about retirement planning, saving for the future, taxes, investing, that sort of thing. And if that's your jam, I'd like to see you come on back for another one. Thank you for being here. I hope you learned something today, and I'll see you soon.